Hey, what's up? Well, I'm back again. I'm gonna try something very different. I'm gonna try making a quiet video in the space room. Don't know how well it's gonna work out or what I'm gonna do if it doesn't. But I might have this video come out next year, which is also next month, because I have way too many videos in December. And I probably won't have much of anything in January. But as you can see, I'm wearing my Christmas t-shirt as a layer. It's very thin, but it's good for when you don't quite have cold weather around Christmas. But it's Christmas nonetheless. Well, I want to title this video something very simple. Pink and green. Really, it should be green and pink, but I prefer pink and green. Okay. And why am I calling it that? Well, it's a very interesting title, but what it refers to is the fact that one of the reasons why it is nearly impossible for me to forget, and of course this could be killing my short-term memory, one of the things making it nearly impossible to forget the month during which I get a cold on the rare occasion that I do these days is the fact that for every month there is a birthstone, and in my head there's a conveyor belt: garnet, amethyst, aquamarine, diamond, emerald, pearl/alexandrite, ruby, peridot, kind of a lime green, sapphire, beautiful deep blue, pink tourmaline, citrine, kind of a yellow color, and turquoise or blue zircon, kind of a teal color, almost green. So those 12 birthstones, as well as the zodiacs that they're supposed to represent, are on a conveyor belt in my head. And that is how I memorize, like, same thing with Friday the 13th. In my head there's like a conveyor belt, and it has a pattern of gemstones for every Friday the 13th. And I see that pattern just like if it was at the grocery store, going down a conveyor belt. You know, a year like this one, it's just one little pink tourmaline, followed by, well, we're going to have a leap year, so it's going to change it to where we have September and December, so 2 blues. And then, of course, like a pearl or alexandrite for June, and so on. So in my head, I see this pattern of gemstones. And I also know the weekday that is both my birthday and Christmas, which I'm pretty sure is it a Monday this year? Yeah, or something like that. Something like that. I think next year it'll be a Wednesday because of the leap year. So, anyway, you know, things like that just make it impossible. You know, even if I didn't want to remember these dates for, well, especially 2 in particular, 2 of the most remarkable colds I've ever had. Well, 1 in particular. Not because of severity, because I had defined myself as a freaking alien who is not supposed to get sick a month prior in April. You know, just like girls define themselves as boys, I wanted to be a boy alien, like Yoda. And in my mind, aliens didn't get sick. So, basically, the birthstone of that cold in May of 97 would be an emerald. And, you know, the fact that it occurred in May made it more remarkable, not less. You know, my mom has this misconception, you know, that colds and Christmas or wintertime have to always coincide. But that is not the case. That couldn't be further from the truth. Colds do not give a crap about the calendar or the holidays. They do not give a crap. And they don't really care that much about the weather either. So, you know, and then as I've stated before, you know, the fact that my little cousin, I have a boy cousin, who was born exactly 10 years after the onset of that cold I got in 97. And it was almost like to the day, like May 1 was day 1. And surprisingly, I happened to also have a cold in 2007 when he was born. And this is his birthstone. And his zodiac is Taurus the Bull, like my sister, bull-headed. And then this other cold that I had in 2004. You see, another thing is the significance of that cold for me is that it occurred during my sister's 7th grade year. See, 7th grade and colds kind of became an obsession, a 2-part obsession of mine. And so the fact that that one was around October 11th, and that's a very significant date, because 3 years later I have a girl cousin who would be born around that time, October 11th, 2007, so she and that boy cousin are close in age. And, you know, also my uncle would die on the 10-year anniversary. So her birthstone is a beautiful pink tourmaline, like a princess, and her zodiac is Libra. And so yeah, pink and green. I'm going to title this video Pink and Green, of all things. And the other thing I want to talk about is how I found a solution for the boy busting out of his shoes. I guess Santa Claus felt sorry for him and brought him a pair of shoes. And the other thing I want to show is that I have a little blonde boy who was barefoot. So here I am worried about a stupid doll needing shoes when there are real children with cold feet tonight. So that's my 2 little boys. And see the theme, pink and green. 2 little girls. And whether or not those shoes last, because they're kind of a tight fit, I don't know. But it'll work for now. So that was Lisa and a little redhead girl. The other thing I wanted to show is how this little boy was barefoot. Now he has a pair of shoes. Finally found a use for those Converse. And here's a little girl in a jacket. And she also has matching shoes. And I'd like to take this moment to clarify what I mean by Cody and Penny from The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under. Because some people may not know. It's a Disney movie about these mice that save kids. Well, there's only 2 movies. So this is like the original 1978, and this is like the 1990 or 89 sequel. So it's kind of outdated, but and then this is Jenny from Oliver and Company, another Disney character. Here's another little kid core girl with some shoes, meant for another doll. So I want to put them over there, and I want to go ahead and post this video and hopefully schedule it to come out in January to help with the lack of videos. So yeah, oh, I just want to title this video Pink and Green. And you know, just say that it's so ridiculous when people try to tell me it's about as ridiculous to try to convince me that I didn't have a cold when I know for a fact that I did, as it is to try to tell me that I did have one when I know for a fact that I didn't. You know what I'm saying? And the birthstones of these colds are another thing making them unforgettable. And like the one around my grandmother's funeral happening in September, because September has that beautiful blue birthstone called a sapphire. And that is unforgettable. In addition to the fact that my grandmother had passed away around the same time. So when something corresponds with a birth, a death, or a wedding, or something very important, you know, like an important test or an important thing I had to do for piano, or just, you know, some kind of an event. It doesn't matter what it is. A family get together, a family reunion. Anytime I have a cold around the time of something like that, and pictures are taken and things are documented, it is, I mean, like, well, I mean, it's about as ridiculous as trying to convince me that I'm wrong about what I've been saying for a solid 4 years now. So yeah, I'll go ahead and post this video. Say I hope this new year is a much better year, and that I continue in my steady decline in videos about that subject that I'd rather forget I talked so much about in the past.